So, an update on what's going on with me. I have started to try to date again. I left my partnership in May and have been doing just an enormous amount of self work. And it has brought me to a really deep place and to and through. I feel like I finally got to like the shadow inside the shadow inside the shadow that I'd been avoiding um, for my whole life. And it has to do with acceptance of embodiment, mortality, um, acceptance of, in particular, this female embodiment in this lifetime, um, and acceptance of my sexuality and my emotional relationship style, my intimacy style, and what I'm really looking for when I want a partner, or when I want to partner, when I want to collaborate, when I want to initiate acts of intimacy on all levels: physical, sexual, emotional, intellectual, creative, um, uh, social intimacy, like partner, what it means to be like publicly with somebody or with a group. Um, I feel like I've learned. I'm coming to see how much shame that I've had around a lot of this stuff, and how the stories that my culture has fed me about gender, about monogamy, about um, ways, about sexuality, about ways that we should or shouldn't relate. Realizing how much these stories have been at odds with my nature and with my really true desires and needs. And it's hard to know exactly where to begin to even talk about all of this, but I'm gonna give it a little go. When I was approaching my wedding, I had the most anxiety I've ever had. And the day I woke up married, the day after my wedding, I set me off into the deepest, longest depression I've ever had. And I realized as I started to dip my toe into dating again, that the dating process initiated a similar but albeit smaller cycle of exactly the same thing: anxiety, depression when it's over, anxiety leading up and through, usually, and then depression. And when I compare this to moments of my life, experiences in my life where I feel, where I don't have anxiety and depression, times in my life where, those are times in my life when I feel authentic, and where I feel like my needs for intimacy are actually getting met. And what I've come to realize is that the stories that I have about femininity and masculinity were that I was like clinging to those stories as a way to avoid the shame about what I really am and what I really crave. My wedding was like the ultimate drag show for me. But a drag show is like a really celebratory thing, I think. It was like, it's like I've been cross dressing my whole life, and being terrified that I wasn't going to get away with it. I could not see this at the time. But my clinging to this very heteronormative relationship with a very masculine partner, where I was playing the feminine role, I realized that as I started dating again, I was like, I kept kind of trying to act this thing out. It's like here, I've got my script, you've got your script, and here we go. I'll play the woman, you play the man. And there's a certain pleasure in playing it out, just in the sense that it's like, oh, I get this, like I know the script. And certainly there's like joys of like winning and succeeding, and the script going the direction that I want it to, you know, and or the outcome. But now, you know, 6 months out from just this totally devastating experience and my ego getting like totally obliterated, you know, one little part of me was like, oh, I'm playing this role and I'm good at it, whatever. But then the rest of me that's been like really healing and transforming and just learning, you know, and just reveling in real authenticity and real intimacy was like, what is this? I don't enjoy this, and I'm not really getting what I want out of it. So now I kind of got to this really interesting juncture where, I mean, I almost honestly, like a couple times this last month, just like gave up. I got depressed and was like, I'm not fit for this. I can't do relationships. But the truth is I can't and won't do them the way that I've been doing them my whole life. And according to these old scripts, like those are just, they're out, they're done. And that the death of that, the ending of that, as scary as it is also like, it's been the beginning, it's this rebirth. I feel really liberated, right? I feel like I'm coming out of the closet as somebody who has both masculine and feminine energy, yin and yang. I've been in denial of this. I've been seeking out more masculine partners because I don't want the discomfort of being in a space where I'm questioning. But the fact of the matter is, I am gender fluid. I always have been. And embracing that, I mean, I've had a lifetime of like questioning about that. I remember being very, very young and wondering why I wanted to play He-Man, but I didn't want to be She-Ra. Or wondering what it meant to have a boy's name and to be interested in all these boy things and to have a female body. I feel like I am coming out as somebody who has a weird little animal creature body that has weird little animal creature needs. Some of them are just physical, like cuddling. Some of them are sexual, so erotic, you know. Some of my needs are emotional needs. For emotional intimacy, I need intellectual intimacy, creative intimacy. I need all these things. And totally accepting that, and accepting it and trusting it is really huge. Trusting that that's not bad and it's not wrong. And in the past, I followed this part of the script is that you need to find somebody who can be intimate with you on all those levels. And I've never found that, and I don't want to pretend that it even appeals to me as I have been. So I am also coming out as polyamorous. There's a word for it now. I've been this way my whole life. Wanting a village of support for who I am, and wanting permission to love in ways that are exploratory and fluid, the different people that are in my loving circle. And I can see how a lifetime of confusion around this stuff has affected me now. and I get to now really have full compassion for myself around it. I get to start engaging with the right communities around these questions and keep good company. And there's been just it's just a lot of I'm feeling really celebratory at the moment. I'm going to leave this here because 10 minutes feels like enough to talk about this stuff, but there's way more to talk about. And I'm curious what sparks for people from this. And yeah, I want to hear your stories too, now that I know what kind of has been central and shadowed as I've been going through all of this. I'm just not afraid. I'm not so afraid anymore.